blood and shit running all down his face. He's screaming and yelling. And I'm standing there at the bottom of the stairs. He's about 4 stairs up, screaming and yelling at me. And I'm looking straight at him. They popped his eye out right there. 3 weeks later, something like that, maybe, I was in the bathhouse taking a shower, and they just surrounded me and got me right there in the bathhouse. Stabbed me with ice picks. Hi, welcome to Time the Podcast. Thanks for tuning in again. Hope you're enjoying our podcast. We're really enjoying talking to you. Thanks for coming.
You just fucking jumped right in. You didn't let me do anything.
All right, I'm not saying anything.
Hi, boss.
Hi, P. How are you today?
All I wanted to say was hi, boss.
Hi, P.
Hi, welcome to Time the Podcast.
Yes, thank you again for tuning in. I'm here, boss. I'm here with my good friend and publisher, friend of the world.
Stop fucking saying publisher. Publisher?
Publicist?
Publicist. You don't even know what a publisher's... You don't know what a publicist
All right.
is, right?
Hi, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for showing up. I'm Boss. I'm here with this really hard to get along with fucking person, Paula Parrish. Hi, Paula.
Aww. Hi, boss.
You look so dejected.
I deserve that, all right? I deserve that.
Yeah.
This is where we talk about all things prison.
Yes, inside and out. I mean, what prison does to you and what prison does for you, right?
For you.
Sure. It changes your whole fucking attitude. Makes you a criminal. Makes you hate people. Makes you hate authority. I could just go on and on and on and on and on about the things it does for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Prison is no fucking joke.
I've heard people talk about Gladiator School. What is Gladiator School?
Okay, so Gladiator School is Great Meadow Correctional Facility. We call it Comstock. Most guys are wearing magazines for armor, and everybody's got a shank, everybody's got a knife or a razor blade, and that's why it's called Gladiator School, because fights just break out all the time and there's blood every place. Every day, somebody's leaving that place in a helicopter or in an ambulance. Every day. Most guys are doing an asshole full of time. The COs are super rude, super violent COs. They have beat up crews, and it makes the whole place a zoo. And it's been that way for 50, 60 years. And the legislature, the COs union, nobody steps in to fix that. You know, but that's Gladiator School, and every convict in New York State knows what Gladiator School is. I did 9 years in Gladiator School.
Wow.
I was well trained.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You had weapons?
Of course, you had to have a weapon. You have to have a weapon in Gladiator School. What, are you going to go out in the arena and everybody's got a knife and you don't? What, are you going to have a Bible? Nice words? Please don't stab me. I'm not looking for trouble. It's not going to work. You're the first guy they're going to stab.
When did you go there?
I went after Clinton. Yeah, I was DOA at Plattsburgh Hospital, and they sent me to Comstock to recover, of all places. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I went from Clinton in Vol to Comstock and stayed 9 years.
What is the population like there?
It's 1,500. It's where all of the young guys go, 18 to 25. Usually, they usually mix some older guys in their 30s and 40s to try and keep the population calm. You know, the older guys, stabilize things. Because here's the thing, right? And this is one of the biggest things that's wrong with prison. If you and I are in the same program, are doing the same, living in the same housing unit, and you do something to break the rules, and they don't know who did it, you and I both suffer for that. They just assume right away that we both did it, or all 100 of us did it, and both of us or all 100 of us are going to suffer for it. So with the older guys mixed in with the younger guys, the older guys are going to say, hold up, listen, knock that shit off because now you're fucking with my privileges.
Yeah.
But Comstock is always violent. So look at it this way, right, Pete? I mean, today we know beyond any reasonable doubt, we know factually that as human beings, we don't stop growing, right? Our personalities are not set until we're into our 20s, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, we know that factually these days.
Your brain isn't done developing.
Okay, so they need to say, okay, 22 starts adulthood. If you get into the judicial system at 22, then you're going to be treated as an adult, and whatever that means, that's what that means. But if you're in there before 22, then there needs to be a different standard. But Comstock is definitely always violent. Like I said, it's the dumping ground for all the trouble. All the troubled people are there. When I say it's a dumping ground, it's not just a dumping ground for convicts. It's a dumping ground for COs too. All the shit COs get sent there too.
Really?
Yeah. And when you're in a place that has a reputation like that, it's alive. The reputation lives. Gladiator School, right? So you go in there expecting combat. And when you're expecting combat, when you're in that mode, when you have that suit on and you're expecting combat, if there isn't any combat, what do you think's going to happen?
You play cards?
No, you're going to make combat. Because you're
riled up.
You're riled up, right? So you're set for war. If there's no war, you'll fucking start one. So there's always something going on. It's Gladiator School for a reason. So the reputation is a living, breathing thing. You can feel it.
So the DOC knows that it's a problem child, right? This facility.
Yeah, but it's not the only one, right? The whole system is a problem child. The DOC knows very well that the whole system is a problem child. But how do you fix it? You can't fix it with the people running it who make it the problem. The only way to fix it is give an outside party or an outside person the authority to walk in, do an investigation, see what's going on, and change it. So that's one of the first things that need to change.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems is probably that COs aren't trained. I mean, people who work in facilities should be trained in psychology and therapy also.
Yeah, they do.
Cops don't have the fucking wherewithal to deal with stress and to deal with unhinged people, right? Or mentally ill people. So it's the same with inmates, right?
Yeah, but I mean, the point that I'm trying to make is, you've got the wolf in charge of the hen house, right? So if you look at corrections overall, the problem starts at the very top. It starts in the governor's office. Because he just appoints some guy who knows about law enforcement. What were you? Oh, I was a state trooper for 15 years. Or I was chief of police for 6 years. Oh, you're my guy. Chief of police, great, you're my guy.
You're talking about commissioner?
I'm talking about the commissioner of corrections, right? If you appoint law enforcement over corrections, doesn't the problem start with law enforcement? You just mentioned that yourself.
Mm-hmm. All right, so what goes down there? Guys wearing magazines for armor.
Magazines and newspapers you wear for body armor, right? So what you do is you wrap the magazines or the newspapers around your body. So just picture yourself putting a magazine, on your stomach, right? And then putting another one next to it and another one next to that, and then putting a piece of tape to hold those three. And then you do the same thing. Maybe you'll lay a piece of tape out straight across, maybe 3 feet long, and you'll lay 3 magazines on that piece of tape so they're taped on it. Pick up that piece of tape and put it on like an apron on your back. Now that covers your kidneys, and you'll rub that around the crust forearm. Now you got 6 magazines going around your torso. So to stab you, if you've got those 6 magazines on, I've got to have something that's strong enough, and I have to be physically strong enough to get whatever I have through those magazines before I can get it into your skin. So it's armor. So back when men were men and sheep were nervous, the armor was made out of leather. So it's kind of the same thing. You don't believe sheep were nervous?
So if everyone knows how everyone's wearing magazines, like why is it just for show then?
No, because you might have, so if you've got magazines on your torso, right, you're protecting your heart and your kidneys, your fucking neck's available, your leg, back of your shoulders, your face. You ain't armored up every place, right? You're just trying not to get killed. That don't mean you're not going to get maimed. You're just trying not to cover your vital organs, right? Your heart, your kidneys.
Did you do that?
Oh, sure. Everybody did, yeah.
Every day?
Not every day. Just when you knew, you could feel the tension. And, word would go around that something was going to go down. Or maybe you had a disagreement with someone or a fight with someone, and you needed to protect yourself. So on those days, I would armor up. Yeah, on the days that I felt like I was in danger, I would armor up. Sure.
You would just have a stack of magazines and a roll of tape in your
Yeah, they sell
cell?
tape in commissary, you know. So yeah, in magazines you can have prescriptions to magazines, you know, subscriptions. So you just get a subscription.
I always say prescriptions too. I
funny.
thought that was my own weird mental glitch.
I guess we all have it. Yeah. So subscriptions to magazines, you know, you get whatever, Field and Stream, Hot Rod, anything. You know, once you read them, you don't throw them out.
Country music.
Country music for pen pals. It's body armor after that, you know. So you're allowed to have 25 magazines and 25 books at any one time.
What's the most violent thing you saw go down there?
I gotta say the most violent thing I seen was a riot in the mess hall. Cops fucking dropped the gas, sealed the doors, and left. And it was just a free-for-all. I don't know how long it lasted. It felt like a year. Everybody came out of there fucked up. Stabbed, sliced, hit with trays, spoons, forks, whatever. Everybody came out of there fucked up. Nobody came out unscathed.
Wow.
Just a bullshit fight started it. One guy hit this guy, and he went into the table where guys were eating. Those guys got up and hit guys, and next thing you know, they're into a different table, and just like you see in fucking Hollywood, just chain reaction. Before you know it, the whole place was fighting.
Just because there's so much tension?
Just because there's so much tension, and people are just so fucking angry, just so fed up, just sick of being treated the way they're treated, you know? The cops were always kicking the shit out of somebody. They always had somebody on the wall screaming and yelling at them. That's the unusual
Are
incident
inmates
report.
really violent toward COs there?
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't they be? The COs are fucking animals. It's an animal kingdom, right?
But it's kind of a chicken or the egg thing, right?
Everybody's at war all the time. There's always war. The gangs are at war with each other all the times. The whites are at war with the blacks are at war with the whites are at war with the Spanish.
Still?
It's not as bad now, but don't think for one second that prison is not still racially segregated. I mean, out here, the streets and stuff like that, it's much better, but it's still not where it needs to be. So just compound that by 1,000, and that's prison.
How does everyone have a weapon?
The prison's packed full of weapons. You can make a weapon out of anything, P. There are guys who get into different shops and different programs because it gives them the opportunity to get materials to make weapons, and they'll make weapons and they'll sell them. They're for sale in the yard, yeah. You know, you have to carry it, you have to conceal it. Now they came with all these metal detectors and they've got all these things, so it's much more difficult now to walk around with a steel shank, you know. So you have to kind of stash it where you work or stash it in the yard someplace where you can get to it if you need it, you know, stuff like that. So usually they'll have, like, in the crew, you'll have an armorer, you know, somebody who works in place that can do that kind of stuff or something, and you know, you just tell them, listen, man, put some stuff together and make sure we can get to it. And so that guy will put some stuff together, and if you need a shank, you just go to him and say, hey, I need a burner, and he'll bring you one.
Tell me about the time you were stabbed there. The appendix story.
That was in Clinton.
Oh.
Yeah. So Comstock, I was stabbed higher up with an ice pick. But that's where the appendix come together. So where your large intestine and your small intestine come together, your appendix hangs off of that. So when they got me in Comstock, they got me right where they come together and just ripped the sac so that the poison was in me, you know? So I was sick as fuck.
What was that about?
That was about, I was national president of PBB at the time and chapter president.
What's the PBB?
Prisoners Bikers Brotherhood. That's what this tattoo is. So I remember that I was in the yard, and the Nietas were one of our affiliates at the time, and they had a rogue member go bad. And
what is the Nietas? A Spanish gang?
it's a Spanish gang. Yeah, it's a Spanish gang. Pretty big.
Were
gang.
you guys a gang?
We were a brotherhood, but you needed people to have your back. You know what I mean? If there was going to be a big riot in the yard, this guy's against that guy's, or maybe the Muslims wanted to wipe out the biker brotherhood or something. You know, so you had to you needed allies, right? So one of our allies was the Nietas, and they had a guy go bad. A guy named Green Eyes, I remember, went bad on him, and I was out in the yard that night, and they needed backup. They were going to take this guy out on the way in. So I said, none of my guys are out. I got you. Only thing I had to do was watch out for him, play chicky. That's all my job was, you know. They were going to take care of their own mess. I was just supposed to play chicky and let them know when we got inside if the CO was coming. So we got inside and we started up the stairs, And they pulled the trigger too early. They were supposed to wait till we got 3 flights up, and they were going to get him on the stairs. He was walking with them. He had no idea it was coming. They were talking to him, rocking him to sleep. He had no idea it was coming.
Tell me, rocking him to sleep, what does that mean?
It's like, you just bullshit somebody. Hey, man, how you doing? It's good to see you. Seen you a long fucking time. What's going on? And you're just talking shit. You're just rocking them to sleep.
Calming them
down, putting them at ease. They have no idea that they're in trouble, that you know what they're doing. They don't know that it's coming. You're just rocking them to sleep, we call it, right?
Wait, how had he gone rogue?
He was told to do some stuff and said he did it and didn't do it. He was told to do something.
So that means he went bad just because he didn't follow their orders, right?
Yeah, and I think he stole some money from the club.
Oh.
I think he was told to do some stuff with some of the money and he said he did it, and they all thought he did it, and then they found out like a month or two later it was never fucking done.
Oh.
And he told him he did it, so that's unforgivable, So anyway, so we're going up, and they're supposed to wait till we get 2 or 3 flights up, and they didn't. We were like 1 flight up, and the guy takes out a pen and stabs him right in the eye with a pen. That's the first time I'd ever seen that done. I mean, his eye just exploded like a grape. Blood and shit running all down his face. He's screaming and yelling, and I'm standing there at the bottom of the stairs. He's about 4 stairs up, screaming and yelling at me, and I'm looking straight at him, Those 2 guys are heading on up the stairs. Meanwhile, I'm stuck there with him. They left me there with him because they pulled the trigger too soon. I was supposed to stop there and then call out if a CO come up the stairs. But they pulled the trigger right there where I was supposed to stop. They were supposed to go another flight or 2 up before they pulled the trigger. They didn't.
Oh my fucking God.
They popped his eye out right there.
Holy shit.
It's pretty gross. And then his friends thought I did it, that I had something to do with it, And so probably 3 weeks later, something like that, maybe, I was in the bathhouse taking a shower, and they just surrounded me and got me right there in the bathhouse.
But he knew that you didn't do it, right?
As soon as he did that, he went to the hospital and then gone. You never see him again. So you never see him again.
So they heard that you did it.
Well, they knew that I was with those 2 guys, so they just figured it was me and those 2 guys. So they went after all 3 of us.
So you were in the shower?
I was in the shower, fucking freeballing, washing myself. Yeah.
Alone?
Alone, of course.
And
what do you think? I shower with other people? What the
3
fuck?
guys came in. I don't know. Maybe 5 of you go into 5 showers at once. I don't know.
It would be safer that way, actually. But no, I was by myself in the bathhouse that night. They got me pretty good. They surrounded me and stabbed me with ice picks. I never knew it was coming because I didn't do anything. You know what I mean? I didn't have my suit on. I didn't do anything. I didn't. You know what I mean? I didn't stab that guy. I didn't poke his fucking eye out. I had nothing to do with it. I was just playing chickie.
So they also attacked you with ice picks, just like the guys in Clinton?
Yeah, because ice pick was kind of the weapon of choice for most people for 2 reasons. It's easy to conceal because it's small and round, right? It's not a blade. And secondly, it does a lot of damage.
How long do they make them?
All different sizes,
Okay.
You can make them long enough to go right through you, or you can make them long enough just to hurt you real bad. You get stuck with something like this big, this long, 3 inches long. It fucking hurts, man. Think about it. It's like 3/16 or a 1/4 inch round with a sharp needle point and 4 inches or 3 inches long, stabbing into you. That fucking hurts, man. Yeah, I don't care who you are. That's gonna pucker your asshole. It hurts.
Pucker your asshole.
Yeah. That'll slap all the salt out of your starfish.
Thanks for bringing humor into this.
You're welcome.
You went to the hospital, obviously?
Yeah, I went to the hospital, got fixed up.
So then you went straight back to Comstock, and were the guys there still?
No, they weren't there. My guys had taken care of them by that time. They were gone. So, and I never said who did it. I never said anything. I just said I fell downstairs. So that's the story you always tell.
Fell down the stairs and there was an ice pick sticking straight up.
Yeah. You don't even talk about that. They're just like, they know you're full of shit. They know you're fucking lying. But they also know, if they know you at all, like they knew me, that I wasn't gonna tell them. Once I told them, I fell down the stairs, man, I'm good. That's it. My story's not changing. And I would tell them that to their face. They would say, and I know that I'm as full of shit as I can get, but my story's not changing. So you can keep fucking asking me, and I'm going to keep telling you the same thing. No disrespect, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And they go, all right, fuck it. If that's your story, that's what they write down. You make claims he fell down the stairs. However, and that's what they write down.
You said most of the people there are troubled, or people who had gotten into trouble in another facility.
They got in trouble in other facilities and got moved to Comstock. So.
And you went there because you had gotten into a fight where you got stabbed.
Yeah. I went there because I got stabbed. Yeah. I mean, that wasn't my first incident, right? I mean, I was in Clinton for a reason. I got thrown out of, I can't remember where I got thrown out of. I got thrown out of another prison and sent to Clinton. So it's not like I was, a star pupil, right? I mean, in all honesty, in all seriousness, the second time I got to Auburn, the superintendent wouldn't let me off the bus.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Superintendent gets a list of everyone who's coming into his facility, and he threw me out of there in 1987. So when I came back,
what had happened then? Why were you thrown out?
He threw me out in 1987 for shutting down his industry. I closed down his industry.
How?
I told everybody, that's it. We're not working. So that's it.
Why? What prompted that?
They took the showers out of the industry. So, you work all day, you're all shitty and nasty and dirty. I mean, they build furniture and they build license plates. That's the two things they do. Both of those jobs are filthy. Could you imagine running a saw all day with sawdust and shit all over you all day, and at the end of the day you can't shower? Mm-mm. Right. So they decided to take the showers out of industry to up production. They say, well, if these guys aren't stopping at 2 o'clock to shower, we can work them all the way till 3. So they took the showers out of industry and nobody could shower. So we had a big meeting. A bunch of us got together, shot callers and the ILC got together, and we said, all right, that's it. So we're not working. So we went around and told everybody we're not working. And I, of course, was the mouthpiece. So he threw me out of there in 87 for closing down his industry. His industry didn't work for 6 weeks.
How many people?
1,500.
No, not everyone was working in industry.
Auburn.
Right? So everyone at Auburn works in an industry job?
Industry is huge in Auburn. There's 26 or 2,700 people in Auburn.
Oh, shit.
Right.
I didn't know.
Right. So industry is huge. It's where you make the money. You work in industry, you'll make $50 a week. You see? You can't make that any place except industry. So they make all of the furniture for the whole state of New York. All the office furniture and all the government buildings and all the schools, that's all coming out of Auburn.
And industry just means it's an outside job. Some other organization is paying you
It's
guys.
Corecraft. Corrections Crafts. It's an industry inside of corrections. Get it?
Oh.
Right. So it's how the state uses us. They make furniture, license plates, they make all the soap, all the clothes, all the food. Everything for the correctional facilities are all made by Corecraft. So they don't outsource anything. Make all the underwear, make all the sheets, make all the blankets, they make the mattresses, the pillows. Everything that has to do with corrections is made in corrections by prisoners. So I shut down.
They pay you guys though, at least.
50. You can make $50 a week, right? You're going to work your ass off. You're going to work, 45, 50 hours to make that. So we got together and I was the mouthpiece and I said, that's it. We're not working. Everybody go lock the fuck in. So we didn't lock out. The next morning came time to go to work. Nobody did. Doors opened. Everybody just closed them. Click. What the fuck's going on? That went on 3 or 4 days and superintendent finally said, all right, what the fuck's going on? Everybody told him, talk to boss, talk to boss, talk to boss, talk to boss. So finally he came to me and said, what the fuck's going on? Told him what it was going to be. You're going to take the fucking showers, then we're not working. He said, I'll put buses in this yard and I'll load every one of you motherfuckers on it and boat you out. I said, where's the fucking buses? This ain't no fucking party. Bring the buses, asshole. Load them up.
Yeah.
So a couple of more days go by. He didn't have the authority to do that. I mean, I knew that. He couldn't do that. So a couple more days went by and a couple guys started coming out. A couple of guys came out, stabbed the 2 guys that came out. A couple other guys came out. Oh my God. So, I mean, that's the deal, right? When you're inside of a society like that, you have to pick a side. Now, nobody's asking you to do anything except stay in your cell. If the CO comes by and says, come out of your fucking cell, you tell them you're afraid to come out of your cell. Because if you come out of your cell, you're going to get fucking stabbed. They know it and you know it. That's all you have to do. Is just let them know that. I'm not coming out because I'm going to get stabbed.
Yeah.
Now they can't force you out.
Yeah.
Because you've told them there's a problem, you see?
Yeah.
And that's all you have to do. But there's always those one or two fucking scumbags that'll come out of their cell. You know, well, I've been in here 3 days, fuck that, I'm coming out. And then they'll come out of their cell, and that starts it. Once the first 2 guys come out, it just goes by weaker links. The weaker links just start coming out, and then it's over. You've lost. You're done. You know? So that's what happened. A couple of guys started coming out, and so they packed me up, put me on a transfer, and kicked me the fuck out of Auburn. So that's how I got kicked out of Auburn the first time. And then I showed up again years later, coming from Shawangunk. I'm trying to remember why I got thrown out of the gunk.
You got thrown out of everywhere, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I wear out my welcome, you know, because I don't put up with their bullshit. But yeah, I got thrown out of Shawangunk too. I know. I remember now why I got thrown out of Shawangunk, because I went after the dude who raped and murdered Tom the Bomb's niece. So they threw me out of the gunk, sent me back to Auburn. I get to Auburn, and the sergeant's doing all the reviews and everything, and I'm on the bus. He's taking them off the bus 2 or 3 at a time to do his reviews, and he keeps going around me. And I go, "Hey, Sarge, what's up, man?" He goes, "Just sit tight." So I'm sitting there, and everybody's off the bus, you know, and then he comes in, and I go, "What's going on, man?" He says, "Come with me, just come with me." So I shuffle out, I'm all shackled, shuffle out. And there's a van sitting there with the doors open. He says, "Hop in the van." And I look in the van and my property's in it. I go, "What the fuck's going on?" He goes, "Superintendent won't let you in here, man. You're on a transfer. You're leaving. You're leaving right now." I said, "Man, I haven't eaten or anything." He says, "These guys are going to stop, get you something to eat." He says, "I ain't got no beef with you myself, but superintendent says you can't be here, so you're transferred. You're out." So I never made it back into population. I never made it back onto the grounds, really, just into the draft room.
Who the fuck are you? Can we do your status update, your meeting with your therapist?
Sure. He told me things about my father that he shouldn't have known. The week that I didn't show up, he took the time to research my father.
Wow.
To find out what was going on with me so that he could help me. He told me my father was a decorated Korean War hero, which I knew. He told me that my father was fine, one of the nicest guys in his community before the war. And when he came back from the war, he was damaged. PTSD, nobody knew what it was then, of course, but that's what he had. And his PTSD trigger was me.
Why?
Don't know. I really don't know why it was me. I mean, I always tried to please that motherfucker, you know? I don't know why it was me. I mean...
Maybe you reminded him of himself. And
maybe, or it could be that, or maybe he's seen something in me that he's seen in himself, right? Like you say, maybe, and he just couldn't tolerate that maybe I would attain the goal that he never got to, maybe. You know, he came home from the war and immediately started having babies. You know, he had 5 kids, and the guy didn't even have a high school education, so he never made good money. You know, he never even finished high school. Neither did my mother. So, you know, they never made good money. I mean, they worked their whole lives. They worked until, you know, my mom worked until she died. So I don't know, maybe he's seen that in something in me that he had to squash. I don't know. But, you know, he would get me 2 or 3 times a week for something, you know, for something. He'd put his hands on me for something. Like I said, I was his trigger. I didn't know that I was his trigger until I spoke to the psychologist and he broke it down for me, but I was his trigger. Just like my trigger is my ego, I think. You know, when people don't give it to me my way, I think that triggers me, you know. He said, "You didn't become a tough guy or an animal in prison. You were that before you got there."
An animal? He said that?
Yeah, because I've told him some of the things that I've had to do to survive, and some of it's not pretty. So this big, violent, hateful man is living inside of me.
Well, I mean, the big difference is that your dad was abusive to you, a child. Are you saying you've done animalistic things as the antagonist, as the, as a perpetrator, or in retaliation, or in...
I have never, ever sought out someone who had not done something to me first. I've never attacked anyone who wasn't attacking me first. So, but the other side of that is when I do attack someone, I don't attack them a little bit. It's full bore. It's wide open. Get it done. So, and that's how my father was. Or that's how I perceived him. So that angry, evil, animalistic man, my father, was living inside of me. I hated him so much I became him. So that's the thing that I had to kill. And he said to me, he says, you have to forgive yourself and you have to forgive your father. He said, you don't have to forgive him for the things he did to you, but you have to understand how he got there. And those are the things you have to forgive. But he was just a nasty, nasty, vicious person. And I wish he was alive today.
Why?
I think I'd like to give it back to him.
I thought you were going to say you'd like to tell him you forgive him because
Fuck
you're
him.
going through therapy.
No, see, I have to forgive him. See, that's the thing, right? I don't have to forgive him as the person. I don't have to forgive James, the person. I have to forgive the thing that lives inside of me that he put there. So by forgiving that and confronting that, I can move that thing out. I don't have to have that thing living inside of me anymore. I can move that out,
You don't want to say anything about your beloved motorcycle?
What's to say? I sold it. I had to sell it. I didn't have the wherewithal to fix it, and I didn't have a place to store it until I would have the wherewithal, the money. Let's keep it real, right? Until I would have the money to fix it. So I sold it. So, and I guess it's kind of a two-edged sword. I mean, there's two sides to it. I mean, at least now I have the money to make my car payment that I didn't have because I'm not working. I'm injured. So, so I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm not happy about it,
Gonna try to get another one?
Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. We'll have another one. Yes. Might take me a while.
Sign off?
Sign off.
Sign off, let's sign off.
Thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you again next week.
Oh, we have a little joke.
All right, let's hear your joke.
This is from Clay. Clay has a joke for you that's very fitting. Ready?
This is about a 9-volt battery?
Oh, don't fucking ever tell that joke. Don't ever tell that joke on this podcast. Seriously. Thank God there are two people doing this podcast. Okay. What is the difference between God and an orthopedic surgeon? What is the difference?
I know the answer. I'm not going to say it.
God doesn't think he's a surgeon.
Great.
You're no stranger to orthopedics doctors lately.
Oh, not lately.
And timethepodcast@gmail.com. We need jokes.
Yeah, send us jokes and questions. If you got questions, send more questions. But be sure and tell us, your name when you send us a joke, because Paula says she's not taking responsibility for the bad jokes.
And nobody better ever tell that fucking 9-volt battery joke. I don't think my son Milo will ever be the same.
He loved
He
it.
was so puzzled. Like, wait, you put your tongue there?
Yeah. What?
No,
Why would you do that?
Terrible. Don't do the time.
If you can't do the crime.
I mean, no, it's backwards.
It is?
Don't do the crime. Don't do the crime.
Don't do the crime if you can't do the time?
Yeah.
And you can't do the time. The time might do you, though.
Unless
right?
you're boss.
I didn't do all the time. Some of the time did me. Let's not make any mistakes
You got
about
stabbed
that.
twice.
Got
Maybe
stabbed
more.
twice.
I don't know. You're full of surprises. Got something funny to say?
My fucking shoulder is killing me. Is that funny enough? I'd like to get this thing off me.
This?
Yeah, I want to stand up.
All right, sayonara.
Sayonara.
Friends. Hi, Lulu.
Oh, so Pete left, so I'm going to tell you the 9-volt joke. So what does a 9-volt battery and an asshole have in common?
I heard that.
What?
It's disgusting.
What happened? Yeah, for a while they were moving me every 2 years. It was like clockwork. Every 2 years, Packet, you're on a draft. So, yeah, I went a lot of prisons. So I could probably name them in sequence, I would imagine.
Try.
Okay, so County Jail, Elmira. Elmira to Auburn. Auburn to Clinton. Clinton to Sing Sing. Sing Sing to Greenhaven. Greenhaven to Coxsackie. Coxsackie to Comstock. Comstock back to Auburn. Auburn to Shawangunk. Shawangunk to back to Greenhaven. Greenhaven to Attica. Attica to Woodburn. Woodburn to Mid-Orange. Mid-Orange to Otisville. Otisville to Altona. Altona back to Mid-Orange. Mid-Orange back to Altona. Altona to Collins. Collins to Groveland. And all the places in between, right?
Yeah, miscellaneous ones.
So that's how many times they moved me. Yeah.